There was a day I almost booked the trip. Cabo, I think. Or maybe the Keys. She wanted turquoise water and umbrella drinks, and I wanted her to feel like I was listening. But I didn't book it. Money was tight, commissions were unpredictable, and something inside me whispered, wait. Just a little longer. She didn't argue. She just said, it's fine, and let the idea float away. But that was the first time I noticed the silence. We'd been married 7 years. Not a perfect marriage, but one I thought was still alive. The kind where routines feel like rituals. Her coffee always with 2 sugars. Mine black. Friday night Thai takeout, her picking at the rice and me finishing both our orders. Little things. Comfortable things. Things that make you think everything's okay. But it started unraveling slowly. A laugh at her phone that she didn't share. A new password on her laptop. Late work meetings that didn't match the calendar invites. It wasn't dramatic. Just different. Off. Her name was Rachel. Still is, probably. And mine is Mark. I'm not here to make excuses or turn her into a villain. I just want to tell you what it felt like. It felt like watching a slow leak beneath the foundation of your house. You don't notice until the floor shifts beneath your feet. The first time I really felt it was 2 months before everything blew up. She said she was going out with coworkers after work. Nothing unusual. She came home with glitter on her collarbone. I didn't say anything. Told myself maybe it was from someone's dress, a hug, whatever. That's what you do when you're trying to preserve the illusion, you give the benefit of the doubt until you're standing in an empty room holding a suitcase. Then came the absences. She started sleeping with her phone under her pillow. Showering the second she got home. Once, I asked her if she was okay. She looked at me like I'd asked if the sun was tired of rising. I'm fine, she said. But her smile didn't reach her eyes. 2 weeks before it happened, I checked our credit card statement. There was a hotel in Newport. A spa in Connecticut. None of them places she'd mentioned, and all paid for in cash except for one receipt she must have forgotten. When I asked about it, she said she'd gone with her friend Lacey. Lacey had been in Colorado that weekend. She said she was going on a girls' trip. 4 days in Florida. Sun, drinks, laughter. No signal, she warned me, so not to worry if she didn't answer. Just a break from everything. She kissed me before she left, almost like she meant it. But 2 nights before her flight, I found the texts. It was an old iPad she hadn't used in months, still connected to her iMessage account. She hadn't wiped it. Or maybe she thought I never looked in the bottom drawer of my desk. But I did. And there it was. His name was Travis. The messages were clear. Not just lust, but planning. Flight numbers. Dinner reservations. Phrases like, can't wait to feel you again, and, he won't suspect anything. I read every message. Some twice. Some with my hand over my mouth. It felt like the floor was gone and I was still trying to walk. The next morning, she packed while I sat on the couch, pretending to watch ESPN. She was humming. Humming. Like she was 17 and heading to prom. I watched her place a bikini into her suitcase, carefully folded. Not the one she wore when we went to the lake. A new one. Black. Lacy. She left at noon. Said she loved me. I said it back. My voice didn't shake. She was halfway to the airport when I began. First, the closet. Her side, cleared in minutes. Clothes into trash bags. Drawer by drawer, the same. Jewelry box into a shoebox. Every trace of her, scooped out of the life we shared. Then I changed the locks. I didn't cry. Not yet. Just kept moving. The house felt cleaner. Lighter. Like someone had opened a window after a long winter. By the time her plane touched down in Miami, her key no longer worked. The first call came that night. It was almost midnight. Her name lit up my phone, and I let it ring. Then again, 2 minutes later. This time I muted it. And again, at 2:13 a.m. Finally, a voicemail. Mark. Hey, it's me. Something's wrong with the key. Can you call me back? Please. The voice was casual, but the end wavered, just a little. Not panic. Just confusion. Like someone lost their wallet, not their entire place in someone's life. I didn't call back. Next came the texts. First, polite. Then, frantic. Then angry. What the hell, Mark? Why did you change the locks? I'm in Florida. Are you serious right now? I read each one like I was studying another language. A life that didn't belong to me anymore. Somewhere in between messages, she realized I knew. You could see the shift. The tone changed. We should talk. Please don't do anything rash. Can we fix this? But she didn't say sorry. Not once. Not in those early messages. And that told me everything I needed to know. I took the week off work. Said I needed personal days. My manager understood, or maybe he just saw it in my face. I stayed home. Sat in a house that now echoed. Her things were gone, but her scent lingered. Shampoo in the bathroom drain. That citrus candle she loved. The ghost of her was louder than she ever was in person. I couldn't sleep. I walked the halls at night like I was patrolling some kind of invisible border, hoping to catch grief before it snuck in. But it always did. I found myself staring at her side of the bed in the dark, wondering how long she had been gone in her heart before her body followed. On the third day, I got a message from Travis. A name I hadn't expected to show up. I didn't know how he got my number. Maybe from her. Maybe from somewhere else. But there it was. You should know, I didn't mean for this to happen. I laughed when I read it. Out loud. A bitter, empty laugh that sounded like it came from someone else. I didn't reply. What was there to say? She wasn't coming back to a home. She was coming back to a decision. And it was already made. She came back the following Tuesday. I knew the sound of her suitcase wheels on the walkway. I could hear them from the living room, soft and rhythmic like the countdown to something inevitable. I didn't get up. I didn't even turn off the TV. Just watched the reflection of the door in the blank screen. Knock. Not a key in the lock. Not anymore. Another knock. Then silence. Mark, she said through the door. Her voice was steady. Practiced. Like she'd gone over this conversation on the flight, maybe even rehearsed it aloud somewhere over Georgia. I opened the door. She looked the same. Almost. A little tanner. Her hair curled at the ends like the salon had done it, not the ocean. Her face wore makeup, but not the kind she used to wear for me. This was apology makeup. Designed to soften and disarm. Can we talk? I didn't say anything. Just stepped aside. She walked in like it was still her house, her eyes darting around like she half expected to see someone else there. Maybe she thought I would bring another woman in while she was gone. That kind of projection says a lot. You changed everything, she said, her voice almost accusatory. The furniture, the photos. Even the scent of the house was different. I had opened every window that week, sprayed down every room. I didn't want to live in the air she had left behind. Yeah, I finally said. I had to. She stood in the kitchen. That same spot where she once told me she loved how safe she felt with me. Her hands clutched each other in front of her. I didn't plan for it to happen like this, she said. But you planned it. She swallowed hard. I was feeling trapped. Stagnant. You were always busy, Mark. Always tired. That was the best she could do. That was her justification. My exhaustion. You cheated, I said flatly. Let's not dress it up. I know. She finally looked me in the eyes. I know I messed up. But I'm here now. I want to fix this. You don't fix a wound like this by showing up with a suitcase and a tan. She blinked. Her bottom lip trembled for just a second, then firmed up. Are you saying it's over? I'm saying it ended the moment you chose him over honesty. Over me. For the first time, she looked small. Not fragile. Not broken. Just small. Like her presence didn't stretch across a room anymore. Like she knew this wasn't a conversation, but a final note. She stood in the doorway, unsure. What am I supposed to do now? I shrugged. That's not my question to answer. She left the same way she came in. Rolling suitcase. Quiet steps. No goodbye. This time, I locked the door behind her without hesitation. The days that followed were strange. Not better. Just different. There was a silence in the house, but it was no longer hostile. It was the silence of recovery. The absence of pretending. I spent hours rearranging things I hadn't touched in years. Her books were boxed. The wedding photos taken down. Not destroyed. Just stored. I wasn't angry. That surprised me. I thought I would be. I expected the kind of rage that sets things on fire. But no. It was something colder. A quiet resolve that sat in my chest like a stone. One night, I opened a bottle of the wine we saved for anniversaries. I drank it alone. No toast. Just a long sip and a long stare at nothing. I remember thinking, so this is what endings taste like. She sent more texts. Not every day. Not like before. Just enough to let me know she was still trying to get a reaction. One simply said, I miss us. Another, do you ever think about what we had? I didn't respond. Because yes, I did think about it. Constantly. But that wasn't the same as wanting it back. A week later, I saw her car parked down the street. She didn't knock. Didn't come up the drive. Just sat there for maybe 10 minutes. Maybe more. Then she left. I stood behind the curtain the whole time, watching. Wondering if it hurt her to be that close to a life she no longer had access to. The truth is, I wasn't healed. Not yet. But I wasn't bleeding anymore either. There's this moment after the storm where you walk outside and see what's still standing. Some things are broken. Others just bent. But most of all, it's quiet. Not peace exactly, but the beginning of it. I didn't expect the letter. It came 3 weeks later. Folded in thirds, tucked in a plain white envelope with no return address, but her handwriting on the front. Just my name. Not Mark, not to my husband, just to you. I didn't open it at first. I left it on the kitchen counter for 2 days, like it was a bomb that might go off if I looked directly at it. But eventually, I poured myself some coffee, sat at the table where we used to have breakfast, and unfolded the damage. It wasn't an apology. Not really. It was 6 pages of justification dressed up as vulnerability. About how she had lost herself in routine. About how she didn't feel seen. About how Travis made her feel alive again. She used phrases like emotional starvation and seeking oxygen. She wrote that she still loved me, but not in a way she understood anymore. That the guilt was unbearable. That she dreamed about me. That she still woke up some mornings reaching for my hand. And then there was this line. Maybe I ruined something perfect. Maybe you'll never forgive me. But I hope a part of you knows I didn't stop loving you, I just stopped recognizing what love was supposed to look like. I folded the letter and put it back in the envelope. I didn't throw it out. I didn't respond either. I placed it in a drawer beneath the tax forms and warranty manuals, where it could sit quietly with the rest of the things I didn't want to look at but wasn't ready to destroy. The thing people don't tell you about betrayal is that the worst part isn't the moment you discover the truth. It's the days after, when you keep expecting the world to stop, but it just keeps spinning like nothing happened. The barista still asks how your morning's going. Your coworkers still want your opinion on the sales deck. And you stand there, holding the pieces of a world that everyone else assumes is still whole. I started going for long drives. No destination. Just motion. The hum of the tires on pavement. The static of old rock stations. Windows down, even when it was cold. Once, I drove past the hotel where the receipt was from. The one in Newport. I parked across the street and just sat there for 20 minutes. I imagined them walking through that lobby. Her laughing at something he said. Her hand brushing his. Her smile, the one she used to give me when we were still on the same team. It didn't hurt the way I thought it would. It just felt distant. Like watching a rerun of a show you used to love before you knew how it ended. I drove home. Didn't mention it to anyone. Some things just belong to the road. That night, I slept with the window open. The air was cold. The sheets were cold. But I wasn't. I had finally stopped waiting for an explanation that would make it make sense. Sometimes there isn't one. 6 months passed. Enough time to redecorate the bedroom. Enough time for the tan she came back with to fade from my memory. Enough time for silence to become something I didn't flinch at anymore. I saw her once. In line at the grocery store. I didn't even realize it was her until she turned her head just slightly, the way she used to when she'd catch her reflection and fix her hair. That same small vanity. She was alone. No ring. She looked thinner, maybe tired. But still Rachel. She didn't see me. Or if she did, she pretended she didn't. I left without buying anything. That night, I thought I might cry. But nothing came. I just stood by the kitchen sink with the faucet running, watching the water spiral down. Wondering how something that once felt endless could just drain away. And still, I didn't regret throwing her out. I didn't regret the locks or the suitcase or the silence. I didn't regret not fighting harder for someone who already had one foot out the door months before I knew to look. What I mourned, if anything, was the version of me who thought love was enough. Who believed that loyalty guaranteed safety. That sharing a bed meant sharing a heart. I started writing again. Nothing serious, just journals. Fragments. Memories. Half-thoughts. I wrote about the first time I saw her, back when things were good. I wrote about the way she used to laugh into her wine glass. I wrote about how betrayal doesn't always arrive like a storm. Sometimes it's quiet. Soft-footed. Polite. Sometimes it calls itself love until it's sure you're not paying attention. In one entry, I wrote, "Forgiveness isn't the same as return." I don't know if she'll ever read that. Doesn't matter. Some things you write only to understand yourself. A friend from work set me up with someone a few weeks ago. Her name's April. She's kind. She asks questions. She listens. We talk about books. She laughs at my dumb stories. I haven't told her everything yet. I probably will. Eventually. But not now. Because I'm not bitter. And I don't want to carry the weight of someone else's mistakes into something new. The truth is, I don't think about Rachel much anymore. Not when I wake up. Not when I go to sleep. Not even when I pass the restaurant where we used to go. Not because it didn't matter. But because I mattered more. And eventually, even the deepest wounds stop bleeding. Even the hourglass, once emptied, can be turned.